morning, April 29th today. 1 Kings 8 and 9. This morning, I thought it was really neat, the scripture, because we're talking about the temple being built that Solomon made, and all the details and all those kind of things. And really today it's move-in day, and I look back to times when Christine and I and the kids moved to different locations, and it was a house we were going to, but it really wasn't a house until we got there. And it's the same with this. It was a nice, beautiful temple, but it was just a building until God actually resided there. And King Solomon, brought the ark in, and in today's kind of thinking, it would have been a big, huge parade and probably televised, and just a huge celebration of bringing the ark and the different items that were going to be placed inside the temple, and for me, it was kind of a neat thing looking at that and what Solomon must have felt, and also how God must have felt, because that those were important things, that this temple was built to house God and the ark and the different things that he wanted, and how Solomon put that as an importance. We heard the other day, we know that David said, I'm not going to build this, my son who will rule after me is going to. And here's Solomon, and again, just the wisdom that he has on what's important and how things are supposed to be. And he brought the Levites in, and he prayed over it, and he blessed the temple. And that's just being intentional about putting God in the middle of what you're doing. And that's what we need to do as a church, and our lives. If God's not at the center of our lives, like he was in the temple, we're missing out on his blessings and what he has for us. So today's scripture, just look at it deeply as far as the importance that Solomon put God in at what a high level. And again, it wasn't necessarily about the building, but it was about God. It was about, that's where he was going to reside. And again, in the spiritual sense of things of today, again, God's got to be in the middle of our lives in order for him to rule over us. And for us to, put him any other place is just a tragic thing in our lives. So, I'm not sure if we can hear that plane going over, but anyways, the things that we look as important in our life, it needs to be God, family, work, people. Those are the things that we have to look at as far as a priority list. And for me, I always look at, like, at the beginning of the year, as my life's a pie, and I cut that pie up, and I try to prioritize things. But sometimes that pie, it's like throwing it in the trunk and hauling it, for 2 days on a rocky road. And by the time you get there, all the pieces are mushed together, and you kind of forget about the priorities and what's important. So, divvy up, the priorities that are in your life, and make sure Christ is at the center of that. And that's what he's asking us to do, and that's what Solomon did. Again, we can look at him as an example. So God bless you all. Have a great day today, and I'll see you in the morning.